Welcome to this video review. Today I have here one very special scope, Kahles Helia 3.5-18x50. It was introduced this year in 2020, and because of all this coronavirus problems, it was introduced online basically. There was no EVA or SHOT Show this year, so we just got an email that they have a new scope with all the data, and then they also had a short online presentation about it. So if I start with Kahles itself as a manufacturer, you probably know Kahles is currently the oldest manufacturer of rifle scopes in the world. They are producing rifle scopes since 1898, more than 120 years already, and they are owned by Swarovski for the last 30 or 40 years, maybe even more. I think in the 70s, somewhere there, Swarovski acquired Kahles. In the recent years, they, I would say, managed to do a whole brand transformation. I think for the last 2 years, they also have this new graphics and new logo and so on with this orange color. And they are going really strongly into the direction of tactical and sport shooters. However, they still have Helia line of hunting scopes. They also have Helia 3 line of hunting scopes with 1-inch tube. And they came out with this high magnification model because of the popularity of long-range hunting. Honestly speaking, I think Austria was one of the first countries in the world where hunters really did do long-range hunting already in the past. But they mostly tried to do it with the development of calibers which had extremely high velocity and not much of a bullet drop. So if you know the Austrian gunsmithing, like in Verlach, they were doing calibers like 300 Pegasus or 6.5 by 65 or similar for hunting of chamois in the mountains. Now, in the recent years, there is a different trend. So long-range hunting is done with relatively normal calibers, but the optics is becoming more and more important because it has to compensate for the bullet drop and it has to compensate for this longer ranges. And this is Kahles' take on it. We know that Swarovski is doing quite a few rifle scopes for this segment. They're producing the DS with the integrated laser rangefinder. They're also producing the 3.5-28, the Z8 for long-range hunting. And they have the X5, 5-25x56 for long-range hunting. They also have a couple of Z5 models for the American market, 5-25x52, but those are not sold in Europe anymore. If I go through the background of this scope a little bit, so Helia is a successor of Helia 5 rifle scopes. And Helia 5 had 4 different models, 1-5x24, 1.6-8x42, 2-10x50, and 2.4-12x56. When they, I would say, re-engineered the Helia 5 and lowered the price, they changed the illumination system and so on to keep the costs down. They ditched the 1.6-8x42 models. So for the last 3 years, from 2017 until now, there are only 3 models in Helia series. 1-5x24, 2-10x50, and 2.4-12x56. We have all the reviews, I think, on our channel, so please check them out. But now they came out with this higher magnification model, which didn't have any predecessor. This is the first Kahles model of this kind. Because they had K series of rifle scopes, which are for tactical shooters, and also they have K 10-50x56, which is for sport shooting. But in the hunting segment, they never had any rifle scope that would have a higher magnification than 12. Now they have it. In the past, I think they had 6-24x50, but it's also more a sporting model, not a hunting model. So if you go through the features of this one, as you can see, it's a typical Kahles design. Aluminium or metal magnification ring with a distinct Kahles design. Also the turret caps have a distinct Kahles design. The scope itself is 38 centimeters long, very, very long scope, with a 30 millimeter central tube. There is no possibility to have it with an SR rail, like in the past. Kahles, because it's owned by Swarovski, used Swarovski rail standard. Now on Helia models, this is gone. The scope itself is quite light, 700 grams approximately, so it's lighter than the competitors. And the illumination is powered by normal CR2032 battery. You can also see a standard configuration illumination outside on a smaller turret, then a bigger ring for the parallax adjustment. It goes down to 40 meters approximately and all the way to infinity on the other side. It has a really long travel, which is nice, and you can really fine-tune the parallax. Made in Austria, they're very proud on it, and it comes with a 10 years warranty. Normally made for long-range hunting. If I come to the reticles, so you're able to get two reticles. Both of them are in the second focal plane. They're really fine and really thin reticles. One is normal 4A. The other one is like a simple ballistic reticle with 3 lines under the center. Both of these two reticles are illuminated. Illumination system is classical. It's no optical fiber or anything in the reticle, but it's still continuously adjustable on this outer turret. So it has an infinite number of intensity levels. It goes all the way from really nice, fine, low intensity settings for low light use all the way up to daytime brightness. And it also has a position sensor. I think that Kahles was the first one who even invented this many, many years ago. So when the scope is tilted to either side or up or down, the reticle illumination turns off itself automatically, which really saves the battery. So if we go to the turrets and we come to the first sour point. So the turrets are capped hunting turrets with 1 centimeter click per 100 meters. You can also see it. It's written on it. The clicks are nice, audible, crisp, have a long travel, more than decent for this price class and for hunting application. The problem is that on a scope like this, you will need a BDC turret. So Kahles does produce BDC turrets, but in my opinion, they are not the best of its kind on the market. They have a really vintage design, and you have to buy a special ring for your caliber and replace this standard ring with clicks with that ring for your caliber. I think this is not the best solution. There is almost 20 mils or 20 MRADs of travel, which is more than enough. And the turret, as you can see, it's multi-turn without any zero lock. They are resettable, however. I will come back to the problem of the BDC turret in the summary at the end of this review. Let's go through the optical design. So 3.5-18. Those of you who know Kahles better will say, okay, this is the same like on their tactical model, K385. Yeah, or no, 318, K318. True, but the optical design is completely different. First of all, in this Helia model, you get much wider field of view, 12.2 meters, which is a lot for 3.5 times magnification. So it's got a really wide field of view, no tunnel effect. In this aspect, it's much better than their tactical counterpart. But on the other side, this scope is 38 centimeters long. Their K318, it's like 32 centimeters long. It's really, really short. This one is really long. 90+% of light transmission rate and 95 millimeters of eye relief. Eye box is also great. So I would say optically, it's equally good or better than the tactical model, at least in my opinion. And for this price range, I forgot to mention the scope costs a little bit less than 2,000 euros, 1,950. The optics is decent. Okay, now it's time for sweet and sour part of my reviews. So what could have been done better, what's done well. With the scope you get the scope coat made from neoprene with this, I would say, semi-rigid parts on both sides where the lenses are. And you get the manual and warranty card and a cleaning cloth with it. Nothing special, but okay. So what is really positive? Positive is that Kahles is thinking about the long-range hunting segment of the market. That's really, really positive, because I think that this market will expand even more in the future. Look at all the YouTube channels like Thomas Haugland and similar. This side of hunting, or this category of hunting, is expanding. I like the classical design. If this scope would have no marks, we would all know it's Kahles, because the design is so distinct. I also like the optical quality. The field of view is great, the apparent field of view is great and the eye box is also very great. I also think 3.5 to 18 is really usable. I also like the build quality and that magnification ring and everything else. It's made fully out of metal. There is almost no rubber except on the fast focus eyepiece. Okay, now what could have been done better? The length, 38 centimeters. We know that in recent years there is the whole array of scopes which are really, really short and have even bigger zoom factors than 5. Especially among the tactical scopes. We know the ultra short scopes. We know the really short IOR scopes like 3 to 25x50. It's shorter than this one. We know March. March has 5 to 42, which is shorter than this scope. So the length is a bit problematic. I think it would look nicer if it would be shorter. We have to know that we are talking about aesthetics. In terms of function, the length doesn't play any role. When you put this on your hunting rifle, it doesn't play any role if it's shorter or longer, but the shorter scopes are more aesthetically pleasing. The second thing, what I think it's really big problem with this scope, is the BDC turret. It's made for long-range hunting, but it doesn't feature a proper BDC turret. I think that Kahles should have done better. Their current BDC turret is not the best one, and they could have done it better. Don't forget, Kahles was the first one who offered BDC turrets to the hunters. It was called Multi-Zero many years ago, 20 years ago maybe. I also think that if they would offer this scope with a Swarovski SR rail, a lot of people would go for the rail. Last but not least, the illumination. You see competitors with better illumination in this price segment. And my final remark, 2,000 euros. It's much more expensive than other models in Helia range. So even 2.4 to 12x56 is cheaper than this one. So I think if they would lower the price for 10%, it would be much better than now. And many people would buy it. Even those who don't do long-range hunting but just need a higher magnification to see the animals better, to see the details better, to see the details better on the trophy. So all in all, a really interesting alternative, great optics, and a viable choice if you wish to have a little bit more of magnification. If, however, you are considering long-range hunting, I would say that it's probably better to invest a bit more in a scope with a proper BDC turret. Let's say Swarovski Z6, Z8 or something similar from other competitors. Thank you for watching. If you have any additional questions, please use the comments below. We will make sure to answer. And if this will not work, just send us an email and we'll get back to you. Thank you.